Welcome to our continuing series, Fine Poetry, Poems that Touch Deeper Chords. Today, Raymond Carver, 1938-1988. One can read of Carver's life and his success as a short story writer in Wikipedia's extensive notes. He was dedicated to short stories and poetry, and described himself as, quote, inclined toward brevity and intensity, end quote, and, quote, hooked on writing short stories, end quote. I have found a few poems, however, that give us a glimpse of a greater depth of the soul in him, and so have chosen the following to read. This one is Radio Waves, for Antonio Machado. This rain has stopped, and the moon has come out. I don't understand the first thing about radio waves, but I think they travel better just after a rain, when the air is damp. Anyway, I can reach out now and pick up Ottawa, if I want to, or Toronto. Lately, at night, I found myself becoming slightly interested in Canadian politics and domestic affairs. It's true. But mostly it was their music stations I was after. I could sit here in the chair and listen without having to do anything or think. I don't have a TV, and I'd quit reading the papers. At night, I turned on the radio. When I came out here, I was trying to get away from everything, especially literature, what that entails and what comes after. There is in the soul a desire for not thinking, for being still, coupled with this, a desire to be strict, yes, and rigorous. But the soul is also a smooth son of a bitch, not always trustworthy, and I forgot that. I listened when it said, better to sing that which is gone and will not return, than that which is still with us and will be with us tomorrow, or not. And if not, that's all right too. It didn't much matter, it said, if a man sang at all. That's the voice I listen to. Can you imagine somebody thinking like this? That it's really all one and the same? What nonsense. But I'd think these stupid thoughts at night as I sat in the chair and listened to my radio. Then, Machado, your poetry. It was a little like a middle-aged man falling in love again. A remarkable thing to witness, and embarrassing too. Silly things like putting your picture up. And I took your book to bed with me, and slept with it near at hand. A train went by in my dreams one night and woke me up. And the first thing I thought, heart racing, there in the dark bedroom, was this: it's all right. Machado is here. Then I could fall back to sleep again. Today I took your book with me when I went for my walk. Pay attention, you said, when anyone asked what to do with their lives. So I looked around and made note of everything, then sat down with it in the sun, in my place beside the river where I could see the mountains. And I closed my eyes and listened to the sound of the water. Then I opened them and began to read Abel Martin's last Lamentations. This morning, I thought about you hard, Machado, and I hope, even in the face of what I know about death, that you got the message I intended. But it's okay, even if you didn't. Sleep well, rest. Sooner or later, I hope we'll meet. And then I can tell you these things myself. Prosser. In winter, 2 kinds of fields on the hills outside Prosser. Fields of new green wheat, the slips rising overnight out of the plowed ground and waiting, and then rising again and budding. Geese love this green wheat. I ate some of it once too, to see. And wheat stubble fields that reach to the river. These are the fields that have lost everything. At night, they try to recall their youth, but their breathing is slow and irregular as their life sinks into dark furrows. Geese love this shattered wheat also. They will die for it. But everything is forgotten, nearly everything, and sooner rather than later, please God, fathers, friends, they pass into your life and out again. A few women stay a while, then go, and the fields turn their backs, disappear in rain. Everything goes but Prosser. Those nights driving back through miles of wheat fields, headlamps raking the fields on the curves. Prosser, that town, shining as we break over hills, heater rattling, tired through to bone, the smell of gunpowder on our fingers still. I can barely see him, my father, squinting through the windshield of that cab, saying, Prosser. Late Fragment. And did you get what you wanted from this life? Even so, I did. And what did you want? To call myself beloved, to feel myself beloved on the earth. And the last poem. This morning was something. A little snow lay on the ground. The sun floated in a clear blue sky. The sea was blue and blue-green, as far as the eye could see. Scarcely a ripple, calm. I dressed and went for a walk, determined not to return until I took in what nature had to offer. I passed close to some old, bent-over trees, crossed a field strewn with rocks where snow had drifted, kept going until I reached the bluff, where I gazed at the sea and the sky and the gulls wheeling over the white beach far below. All lovely, all bathed in a pure, cold light. But, as usual, my thoughts began to wander. I had to will myself to see what I was seeing, and nothing else. I had to tell myself, this is what mattered, not the other. And I did see it, for a minute or two. For a minute or two, it crowded out the usual musings on what was right and what was wrong, duty, tender memories, thoughts of death, how I should treat with my former wife, all the things I hoped would go away this morning, the stuff I live with every day, what I've trampled on in order to stay alive. But for a minute or two, I did forget myself and everything else. I know I did. For when I turned back, I didn't know where I was until some birds rose up from the gnarled trees and flew in the direction I needed to be going.